Hi, YouTube. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. We were supposed to get snow, it said like a few hours ago that we would have snow in our area in 3 hours. It's not here yet, but all the snow is gone off our grass. So if it doesn't come, things will start blooming like the violets and the fruit trees and all that. So I'm a little excited for spring. I think 2 more days, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Maybe the equinox is on the 20th. I'm thinking the 21st. But anyway, I'm excited for spring. I love summer, so that's the next best thing. you know, Fall's always sad to me when everything freezes up. Unless I have somebody to do snow sports or ice skating or something with, I have a snowboard and they're fun. It's fun, but it's not so fun doing it by yourself. And I've done a lot of stuff by myself in my life, so I don't know, that gets a little bit daunting. I've been thinking today about the many times people have tried to um what would the word sabotage my focus on what I'm doing in my life and what my like everybody has a purpose. Like, what do we do in this world? What do we do best in this world? I think what I actually do best is I can show the people that think that they are superior to other people that they underestimated me. And it always comes out in my favor, no matter what, because if somebody's going there with you, like I'm better than you, or in any way like that, they have a insecure, at least one insecure spot, and they're normally dishonest, and that could be the biggest insecure spot right there. What's the worst thing you can do to a tyrant? You can expose them to other people. When you do that, they're going to try lying about you. They're going to probably get angry, or very seldom are they going to just walk away and examine their soul. I highly doubt that that's going to happen with people that I'm thinking in particular. Maybe one, but you never know. So, yeah, I've been thinking about that. The different tactics these people, hundreds of people in my life, and you probably have them in yours too, that will actually, even a spouse, sabotage what you're trying to do for the both of you or your kids. Why would your kid try to take you away from, like, I'm out here, I'm trying to get people to understand the tactics that are used in psychology towards you, you know? Why would somebody try and stop me from doing that, especially if they're not going to do it themselves, or if they take something similar, try and waste your time, try and throw a wrench in what you're doing, and then take a similar approach to things in the world, so they use your pattern. I mean, that's okay up to a point, but not when they're trying to stifle you or silence you, you know. And I don't know if any of you have gone through, I'm sure you have. I mean, there's people, whether it's hatred, jealousy, whatever the case may be. Um, Here, I'll give you a scenario. I had some women one time that were trying to insinuate that I was starting some stuff like with one of their boyfriends or something. Just a minute here. And believe me, I don't I don't come on to people like that. That's not who I am. But just a minute here. Some of you might have heard this before, but well, I confronted him and I told him where to get off. And I said, "Look, I'm not after your." I think I called him ugly. And we were friends, me and this guy. I mean, we were friends, but it's like I don't want your ugly boyfriend. I was going out with somebody. Well, anyway, it was all over this guy, these two women who pretended not to be jealous of me, put downers in a drink that I was just about to drink. But the boyfriend and another guy watched them doing that. So what happened? Her boyfriend grabbed her, took her out on the porch, spun her around, and smacked her. She went flying off the porch for trying to kill me. And the other woman just left. But these women will act like they're not jealous of me or act like I did something to attract the attention of her boyfriend. And I could have cared less. I'm not like that just because we were friends. That type of thing. It happened to me a lot in my life like that. And it's like, okay, okay, fine. Because they're gonna try and play like here's a tall, insecure woman or whatever. No, and as a matter of fact, quite frankly, a lot of guys do like my long legs, and they don't look like a man's, you know. So it's not my fault that my personality um, might attract people in ways that women aren't comfortable. Some women are not comfortable with me just minding my own business, and I don't wear provocative clothes. I don't seek attention. I mean, if I'm at the beach, I'm going to wear a cute swimsuit. But I mean, in my life, if I'm not at the beach, I'm not trying to show nobody nothing. I'm not like that. I don't care. I don't need to do that, you know? So, and people will find out. You'll find out what are you going to attract? What type of people are you going to attract to yourself and why? Why would you want somebody only looking at your physical when you're a whole person? If you're a whole person, you know? And if you're confident, I don't know, I don't think anybody has to really expose themselves to attract, but maybe that's wrong. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a woman that does that, so I can't tell you what that feels like, or men do it too, It's like anyway. Yeah, I'm probably if I keep talking on that subject, I'm probably going to insult and annihilate a lot of people, and that's still not my intent. I'm just talking about the people that have tried to stop me in so many ways. But and it didn't surprise me that it was even like my own kids trying to take up my time when they know that I'm doing something that's valuable to people that are in similar situations. It's like, and they're gonna act, and then these people, and it's just not my kids, it's been a lot of people try and pull the superiority card on me, or especially if they think that they are some kind of a religious figure and they pull it. You're totally and thoroughly underestimating my abilities, And, and I used to just coddle and cater to these people, or just, keep silent and hope that someday it would dawn on them that they weren't all that, but you know, it didn't matter. They just kept doing it and kept doing it. So finally, I'm like, okay, I'm not really worried about my ego, but they are. So how do you um squelch a bully? Use their ego against them. That's all they got. They don't have the intelligence behind that, you know. They just don't. Where a person is going to use the force of darkness is where the strength of the non forceful person will override that every time, whether it's in strength or intelligence or even getting out of a dangerous situation with intuition and instincts that they don't carry because they've got that dark shield around them. They've been practicing the darkness so long, it's encompassed them, you know. But when you don't cater to the dark or the whims or your ego and that type of stuff, and you're walking like a steadfast person, um, with true concern about other people in the world, when you're rolling like that, nothing's going to touch you. Nothing can. That's a fact. I've seen it in my life over and over and over. It's the craziest thing. But I mean, I'm not saying, okay, I always win, because sometimes physically I've been overpowered. I mean, yeah, that's possible, you know, especially getting older. But then there's a more dangerous aspect to confronting somebody that's well tuned and doesn't want to be tuned up anymore. There's a little something different in there in me that was not there before, you know? So I'm serious about I never cared about pain, you know? It's getting a little old now. It's not that I can't tolerate it, because I can. But I was somewhat, not as bad as I used to be, but a masochist. How do you fight a masochist? That's really badass. That's a tough one. I've only I think I've encountered maybe two other people on this planet. One I haven't met in person, but one that really doesn't care if they get hurt and will use that pain to inspire themselves, So I don't know. Everybody's different too, but yeah. I did try and do a one arm pull up when I had my other arm was bad. Just the off balanceness of it ended up hurting my injured shoulder again. I found out with some of my injuries, I try to jump back in um, with my activities maybe too soon. When you have an injury and you're like, oh, you shouldn't have pushed it that quickly, a little bit at a time. I've got a spot on my body that I'm babying it until it gets a little better, but that doesn't mean the rest of me isn't okay. It just means that I got really, really injured in this one area in particular that has had several injuries, you know. I've even had my sternum broke, you know, punched right in the heart. Yeah. But I kept fighting. What are you going to do? You can't stop, you know? So, That was a sneak attack too. I didn't expect it, and it was from somebody I was really close to. So, yeah. And like I've said before, I'm not out just to combat people, but I'm sick of people planning things to execute their whatever they can do to try and cause my demise or downfall or hold me back. I used to kind of just let it go and think, well, there goes another one, but I'm not letting it go anymore. I told you I'm on the attack, and it may not look like it, but I am. I'm not taking care of somebody else's ego anymore. You're going to get a lashing. You come against me, and my mouth is going to think up things you have never heard before. I'll guarantee it. You will and have underestimated me, you know. One way or another, I'm going to get you. And now I'm to the point, okay, so maybe you don't like me, maybe you don't love me. I don't care if you're a relative or not. But if you come across me, you're going to find out that I'm not who you thought I was. I had to be somebody for you. I don't have to be that. I'm still me, and you don't know all of me. I do. So that's their problem, and that gets them every time anyway, you know. At least I'm with somebody that doesn't necessarily always like me, and even sometimes borderline hates me, but he's got an admiration for me because he can't deny the truth, you know? It's just like he's got some warped shit, and that's why I can see all of you too, because I know him better than anybody. So, what do you think? I'm not going to know what you're doing when I've learned from the experts? Of course I'm going to know. I know it ahead of time. That's why I'm talking about this subject that seems to be out of the blue, but it's not. Because I can hear people thinking. I can hear them, they'll put a little something nice in the atmosphere, but it's not nice. It's just a prologue to the entire story that they're going to try and weave with me as the villain. It's not going to work, but you can try it. I wouldn't recommend it. You're going to get hurt doing it. Yeah, you do. Whenever you put dark force out there, it comes back to you in spades. You can think you're protected from that, but when you're dealing with me, you're not protected. I am. And you'll find that out. Well, some of you have. That's a harsh pill when you think you're superior to somebody and you find out you're not. It may it could either be a harsh pill or like Doug and I, at least we have an understanding on that same level, you know. I know he will be cruddy and he knows I won't, you know. Does he have a right to be? Well, that has yet to be determined. Nobody has rights with me. Some people think they could take their rights, like the things they did with their rituals when I was a little kid. You think you had rights to do the things you did? I'm talking to the dark cabal now. and the people that are affiliated with that, that know what and why they did those things to me, rights. I'm going to show you what fucking right is. If I hear that word RITE coming out of another face again, I'll make you grovel. Rights. Rights my. So just beware what you think you're going to come up with next, because I'm prepared. I've been preparing for this battle. I've been in it all my life. So, and people don't ignore those feelings you get with these people that think they're superior, and the visions and premonitions that you'll get, or thoughts. These are your instincts trying to contact you and tell you what these shady little fuckers are up to, you know? And it will keep you safe, because then at least you have a um, foreseeance of a type, and everybody does. Just listen to it. These thoughts, that's not just thoughts, you know. It's like with my ex, I could see him in my mind's eye, what he was doing. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever, you know. The problem was, it wasn't so much that people were doing things in my life and around me. And yeah, it hurt. It hurt really bad, because I was a super loyal, trusting person. But I got over it, because I had to consider the type of person that was treating me like that. It's like, oh, okay, that's you. No wonder why you did that to me, because it was you, you know? And then once you realize that with a person, doesn't matter who it is, family member, friend, or whatever, it's just consider the source, consider where that dark energy is coming from. I mean, yeah, you can forgive a person, but and that doesn't mean that they got away with it. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, we don't need to get revenge and retribution, and that comes from God." Not all the time. Sometimes they need just what they're gonna get, and sometimes you have to put things within their lives to show them that they're not all that, you know, and retribution and consequences, they're real, you know. Nothing's free. You're either paying allegiance to the dark force or the light force. There's no in between. And it's not a game. This is your soul we're talking about. This is your eternity. If you want to keep having to do this over and over and over again till you get it right, that's on you. I think there's enough enlightened souls on this planet, patterns and trailblazers and people that are wanting a better, healthier world for our families and everything. But maybe that's always been the case. All I can do is go on and think on what I'm thinking today. And I'm thinking we always have the upper hand, because we're not moving in dishonor and deceiving people. We're moving on the righteous path, not the right hand path like these fucking weirdos and their bullshit. There still is not a book to tell you good or bad. The Word of God's written on our hearts. In anything, you could drink yourself to death and try and pretend that that's not a fact, but you know it is. You know, it's a fact. And any book that's been written by anybody else besides me, I don't trust shit from nobody. I never was one of these that just said, this is definitively the truth because it was inspired by spirit, not man. And then people will say, well, even the bad parts in there. Yeah, that's true. Even the bad parts or the twisted parts will be used against the manipulators. That part is true, but I've never been one to take anything, whether it's science or history or whatever it was, anything that I was reading, and just think this is absolute fact just because it's on a piece of paper. I could write "I love you" and hold it up there and really hate fucking guts, but there it is on a piece of paper, you know. So, yeah, I go a lot too. When I'm reading something, I go with my instincts a lot on that, and that's a lot, um, not even understanding uh the blue book from the Masons and how they work with the dictionary and the King James and the changes in there for manipulation and whatever. I mean, even within all that, I could decipher the truth because I studied language enough to understand and was shown some literature that other people didn't have access to because they knew my strength. I mean, if you had even raised me and tried to create my downfall, teach me the wrong way with different things. I mean, what they tried to do with me was an absolute trip because they did know my brain was that big. You know, a lot of times I saw it coming. When I was really little, I trusted them. I didn't have any reason not to, you know. But then after a while, I started looking at how other people raised their children and the way they were in the world and stuff, and I realized that what I was around and what was real were two different things. So I became a different person than a lot of people might have because of that. Just because they tried to cause my demise a long time ago, many times, and couldn't do it. And it did seem a little strange, you know, it really did. It still does, but not as strange as it used to. I have understanding now why, but, that protection. So I'm just sick of the egotistical ones or the dark force driven ones working for their master, trying to come against me thinking they're superior in some way. You don't have anything on me, you know, in comparison. That's the way I feel about it. They feel superior. When they put that on me, I'm putting the shame on you. And with your shame, I'll use it against you. And you'll find out what I have in here. In here, you know. If an idiot's telling me they're God, acting like they're God, acting like they're my creator, you know, these men that say they're Christ, okay, explain to me how a raindrop is made. Christ, for Christ's sake, explain that one. And science can't duplicate that. There's nothing science can do on its own without God's material. Nothing. Nothing any of us can do without the Almighty, the Force, you know. But people play like they're superior, you know. No, they're not. There's nobody better than anybody else. Just depends what you've had to go through and how you deal with it. You could be a lot worse, but it doesn't mean anybody's better. And usually the ones that pretend they're superior are way inferior. And if you wanted to rip their world apart, you could do it just by thinking about it. I'm not really quite like that. I will put things before people's lives in thought to make them think or to help them in some way or to attack them, but it's not the attack one. That's when I'm not left alone and I'm pushed and pushed and pushed. Then I'm going to actually put something before you that you cannot fucking handle. Just like men when they try and manhandle me, you can't fucking keep me still. You don't know shit about it. just just saying. Man, I am not trying to demean you. I'm just telling you that I'm sick of being hurt by people, and it is mostly men, you know. I've had a few and still do a few beautiful women that have confidence in themselves that can deal with me and my having to let go of being dainty and passive because I didn't have a choice. That alone brings up a strength and an anger within me that you have no clue the pain I feel behind all that, having to battle when I did not want to and wasn't left alone. And I know you can say, well, like as a man, I know you, or women, I know you've gone through that. How did you deal with it? You know? Did you become more docile? I mean, I'm docile. See? Up to a point, you know? Sometimes you die if you don't fight. And if you do actually do, if you're on a mission, it's just not going to happen. So that's when you have to take control of the reins and say, no, you're not superior. And now I'm going to show you why you aren't, you know? And it doesn't matter who it is. Nobody has the right to try and put on a fake crown and pretend they're something they're not, you know? There's way too many people out there like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with loving yourself and walking out in this world and feeling handsome or beautiful and like you got a cute outfit on and today's your day and you're feeling great and like say when you're young and um you got the whole world before you. Hey, that's a beautiful thing. And if the older generation I know sometimes will like an old woman competing with a young woman, just stop. Let that girl have her sunshine day, you know. Don't rain on their parade. Just don't do it. And men will do that with their sons too. It's like, get out of here, whack job. Let that young man be the young man. You're old. Go sit down and let that boy be a boy. That type of feeling. I've seen it. It's like, why? Or these memes, queenager. I just fucking detest it. Grow the fuck up, you know? Anyway, so I don't do well with people that believe They are a authority figure. You know, no, that doesn't sit right. How about you? How do you feel about that? Go back to when you were a little kid and you were in school. Didn't it seem unnatural that you were told to go sit down behind your desk? My spirit was screaming like, "What the fuck did you just say to me?" You know? I mean, with my parents, like, go to your room or go take a nap or whatever. Yeah, that's understandable. But I mean, all the way through life, everybody's conditioned. Just do what you're told. Don't make any waves. Don't question authority. Don't question what we put before you as literature. That's exactly what it is. And if you don't believe it, you're an outcast, all that bullshit, you know, that we've been, or they tried to condition into us. So I just wanted a couple people in particular to understand. Stop digging your grave. You not only already many times have underestimated me, but you're about to do it again. And I wouldn't recommend it because it always comes back on you. I'll always win. Just don't do it. It's stupid. After a while, I mean, if you keep trying to pick on the giant, and the giant just like, whatever, 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 but then that giant stands up and just one, bam, you know. Did you find out the hard way? Did it take 20 years, or did you learn the first time? Some people never learn, I guess. They're gonna just keep trying to push you and pretend that they're all that. They could be dumb as a box of rocks and pretend that they have some kind of supernatural intelligence, whatever. So don't let people treat you like that ever. And if it's in what they say is a loving relationship, that's that's never going to feel like love. I had somebody used to say, "I'm King of Kings and Lord of Lords," and I'm serious. One time we were on the side of a mountain. He didn't have a shirt on, and he's like beating his chest like a great ape, and lightning or thunder. We heard the thunder crack, and we knew like lightning was, but it was funny to me, you know. It found out it wasn't Lord over me, you know, but people will push you until they get pushed back. And if I'm not done pushing it, in this one case in particular, if I hadn't had children, there would have been times that his life would not have been a life. But I think I was being protected there too, So people sometimes think they're something they're not, you know. And then other people are something and they don't quite understand who they are yet because you've been too kind about it, you know? Sometimes when you're way more intelligent, you're strong, you're beautiful, and you've got somebody in your life that are lacking in a lot of areas, they're going to try and demean you and belittle you and treat you like you're not all that only they could be. And sometimes, like after a while in your life, you're going to get to the point where you would like to prove them wrong. You know, you might have been too kind to even consider stomping somebody's ego into the muck. But, um, yeah, I'm not really worried about people's feelings like that anymore. Not when they're coming against me like that. It's worrying about how they feel anymore isn't a part of my nature, you know, unless you're a little kid or a friend of mine. Anybody else, you're fair game. You come up against me and you're going to see something you've never seen before and hear words that they just come out of me. You might have noticed, but they will. And it's not devised, it's not planned. I just get on here and I just wing it. That's one thing I was going to suggest to somebody um with live streams. That's like I've gone live, but pre-recorded is pretty good, especially if you have information you want to get out there for people to have your time to pre-record something without interruptions is maybe a good way to go for some people. Maybe live some and pre-record some. Even with podcasts, you could sit on your couch in your pajamas and eat Fritos and do a podcast with a cool picture there or whatever. I'm serious. Who doesn't do that? I know some people who do that. You know, one psychologist I listen to does podcasts, and you know, I can hear him like drinking something or whatever, and another person I can hear him do a little toke now and again. I think like Underground World News um put up a clip for somebody to watch, and because he's got his picture up there, and then he'll tell us what's going on in the world and whatever from his perspective and from mainstream media and what they're doing, what the clown show is, that type of thing. But yeah, he doesn't. I mean, he'll get on there and he'll do live things and he'll show himself and do little reports and stuff like that. But I know he's back there token a bunch of times, and other people, hey, good for them. Be real, be yourself, you know. And then, too, like if you know something, say you know something out of the scriptures, or if you like read it 6 times and in different languages, and you know language really, really well, or whatever your information is that you have, everybody's like, well, where's the receipts? Where's the proof? Look, if they don't trust you enough for you to sit on there and just tell them a story about something that you've read and what's in there, um, I mean, you can prove it maybe at a later date or different things, but shit, you know what a good thing would be? Um, Driving around and just talking about what's on your mind or what you've read lately or what information you've gathered or I'm in the market right now looking for a camera. I'm going to be doing some nature walks and just talking about what I talk about a lot and showing you some of the scenery around here or wherever I'm at the time. But I'm going to be um, getting out a little more. But I've put on thousands of miles on these strong legs of mine, so taking some time, even being busted up and not being able to do things sometimes maybe was a good thing for me. 'Cause, yeah. I've been very active in my life, so and I don't expect to just stop, you know. But I wanted to talk about that ones that act like they're superior. You're already my enemy, right with that shit. So anyway, and I don't care who it is. It could be the pastor of your church pretending that they're all that. You're a nasty I hear your brain, you know, people pretending they're all righteous, you know, unless they actually are, you know. So anyway, people, that's and I'm not talking down to you. I'm talking to this one person I know I sense is going to watch this, and you don't want to pretend you're God anymore. You might want to work on your soul before you pretend you're going to rule over everybody on this planet. So anyway, might be for a couple people. So or whatever. So I appreciate y'all joining me. Have a really good night or day wherever you're at. And don't let anybody ever pretend they have authority over you because they don't. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.